Let me make sure. Okay, perfect. All right, guys. So first and foremost, thank you all for tuning in on today's free virtual learning session. There are many familiar faces on here, and I am so honored and happy to see you here. Our organization is super passionate and it's an absolute pleasure to host trainings such as this one to help you gain knowledge, provide value to your business, and grow your profits. We truly stand by our value in helping you better your business. My name is MEYLING, and I am a licensed title agent and managing partner at New World Title. I've been in the business for a little over 20 years, I would say almost practically since birth. My mom, Maria Elena Arias, which is our special guest, which is across from me today, is a very influential real estate mentor in today's industry. She once owned and operated a Century 21 franchise and a reputable title company, Colonial Guarantee and Title. During the very early years as a real estate professional, being exposed to having a plan and working it has paid enormous success, not only towards my personal business, but to a lot of my clients and a lot of agents that I've met across in the industry. I have to really humbly give thanks to our then coach, Luis Mago, which paved the way to what we will be sharing with you today. The statement, and I'm sure some of you have already seen it on my emails, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That couldn't be any more true. It's just so true as it is. Like, you have to be able to know where you're going and plan it. You have to have a map for your business, not only for your business, but for your personal life and for your personal goals. As a title agent, something that I see often is real estate agents get super excited about business planning. Like, now is the planning season. Everybody's all about, let's plan, what are our goals? I want to make X amount of money a year. They start making all of these things and they put it down on paper. They go through it for the first time, but then all of a sudden it's like they become very complacent, which brings us to today's training. So Maria Elena has helped many real estate professionals, including myself, build teams, establish a business plan that not only makes sense, but is effective, achievable, and it's something that you're going to keep motivated to build up your business and level it up. So we're going to be sharing techniques, strategies, a one-page plan called the GPS, some worksheets that you can start using today. So get ready for some serious note-taking. Feel free to post any questions on the chat. I will be monitoring them, so you guys can just kind of put them on there. We'll take some time between slides to kind of go in and answer any questions. So let's dive in and start talking about what you guys can start doing today and growing your business. So real quick, can everybody see my screen?
I see you.
You don't see the screen? Okay, let me make sure I have, share my screen. Here we go. Okay. All right, so let's get started on what we're going to talk about. It's really exciting. So first things first, what are some key points that we're going to talk about today? So the first thing is that we're going to talk about a business plan pyramid. Now, I want you to keep in mind that a lot of these strategies, a lot of this model has been done by other real estate professionals, something that I myself, as well as some of our other team members over at New World Title and my mom, we kind of take about what we see in the industry and what we see would fit for agents. Now, there are certain things that you need to really hone in on before you start doing your GPS model, which is the second thing we're going to cover, along with some strategies that we're going to provide. So there's a lot to go on today. Okay. First thing is why creating a business plan is vital. And I think I pretty much said this in the introductory. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And one of the easiest things that has worked for me in my years as a title agent and a real estate professional is if I put into a goal and I know that I want to close 500 deals, just to give a number, 500 deals a month. Let's say you want to close 45 transactions in a year. You have to be able to break those down into segments on things that you can do every month, every week, and daily. And this plan is going to be put on your calendar, and it's going to be the roadmap on what you need to do. What are your high activities that you need to be accomplishing every day, every week to meet that goal? You're going to hold yourself accountable, which is another great thing about business planning. You want to leverage strategies, planning for your weeks and your months ahead. But before we get there, there are a couple first things that we need to kind of talk about. We need to know what your why is. I know people hear about this. I know you've probably heard about this in many different scenarios, but I can't even begin to tell you how important this is. Your why is your driver. It's your factor. It's why you get up in the morning to do what you do. There has to be a legitimate reason why every single one of you on here today chose to be a real estate professional. I know why I chose to be a title professional. I know why I chose to stick to title and not go into the real estate sector, or why I chose title and not go into mortgages. That's my why. Right? And then you go into knowing what your strengths are. We have to know what each of our individual strengths are. This is important because once you know what your strength is, once you know what your weakness is, once you know what your opportunities are, it's easier for you to know, okay, this is my strength. I am better at being a listing agent. I am better at being a buyer's agent. I am better being at an agent that sells projects. You have to know what your strengths and your weaknesses are. We're going to move down into talking about what your value proposition is. Value proposition is what you're going to tell everybody. It's going to be the factor of what makes you different than 65,000 other real estate professionals out here. Every real estate professional has a unique selling value proposition. This is what makes you different, okay? We're going to talk about defining SMART goals. This is where we're going to start getting a little nitty gritty into how you create. You have all these ideas, you have all these aspirations and these thoughts and these goals that you want to do, but we have to tone them in and we have to say, okay, is this following the SMART pyramid? Is this following the SMART guideline? Then we're going to talk about your GPS. That's when you start creating your GPS. And then we're going to execute your plan. Guys, I think the biggest part and the hardest part of business planning is executing your plan. You can do all of the entire pyramid, but if you're not executing your plan, what are you doing? So we're here to tell you today, you need to execute your plan and create a plan, okay? I kind of toned in a little bit on why, but I want to kind of go in there and show you how it kind of works out. I'm a very visual person when it comes to training and doing some types of training. I feel that visuals and actual real life scenarios really impact your thoughts. So if you see here, this is your why, okay? This is your motivation. Your how is your process. What are you gonna do? What's gonna be your process into you being able to get into your why? And then what is the product? You're a real estate agent for a reason. You went, you got your license, you did the 63 hours, you did the post licensing, you signed up with an amazing brokerage, you're doing the trainings, you're doing all of that. So that's what is your product? Now it's your process. How are you going to do this? How are you going to make an impact into the consumers, into the real estate industry, so that they can have that confidence in listing with you and selling with you and contacting you for all of their real estate needs? Does that make sense on how the why, the golden circle works, and why it's so important for you to really have a toned in on what your why? So determining what your why is number one in business planning, okay? I'm going to go check the chat real quick to see if anybody has no chats. Okay, great. I have a great co-host on the other side of me. All right. Now we're going to talk about real quick. And again, I'm going to share all these slides with you. I'm kind of go through them because this is the business plan pyramid. So I'm going to send these to you so you guys can study them, outline them, and do the worksheets in your own time. So finding your competitive position within a SWOT analysis. Okay, so you want to determine what your strengths are. What advantages do you and your company have? What do you do better than anyone else? What are your unique selling points? Okay, these are your strengths. You're going to want to write these down, or if not, if you're still kind of like unsure, just write them down anyways. It'll come to you. What are your weaknesses? What are areas you can improve on? I can already tell you one weakness that is most common across real estate agents. You want to know what it is? Cold calling. That is the one weakness. So when you're writing down your SWOT, I hope you're being true to yourself and you're writing, yeah, you know what? I am not the best at cold calling. I do not like making phone calls. Let me tell you something about cold calling for a moment. As a title agent, I cold call myself. I have to door knock, believe it or not. I tell this to people and they're like, you door knock? I'm like, yeah, I have to door knock to real estate offices and mortgage offices and banks. I mean, I door knock, I cold call just as much as you do. I prefer cold calling, and I'll tell you why. Because I can make 20 calls, get hung up 5 times, in one day, as opposed to getting in my car and driving office to office to office to office. So when you're thinking about time versus money versus effort, cold calling is the way to go. You can reach so many more people making a phone call than you can driving around town. Think about it for a second. One of your duties and one of your tasks, if you will, is door knocking, farming. Think about it one day. Try it. Test out the method. Go into a community. Do as many door knocking as you can. Just go and door knock as much as possible. Write down how many doors you knocked on and how many people answered. The next day, take a list and cold call. Just start calling. Be a dialing calling machine, and write down how many people you were able to connect with and how many calls you made. See what you did better on. Did you do better in cold calling? Did you make more efforts in door knocking? It's not to say you have to pick one or the other. You still have to do both, but don't be afraid of cold calling. Cold calling, believe it or not, if you change your mindset on how you see it, it's going to help you be more effective and want to start making more phone calls, okay? So that's a weakness. Opportunities. What changes in technology, policies, and social patterns can be a growth opportunity for your business? What are some opportunities you as a real estate professional can provide to your consumers? What is the board offering? Because I'm sorry, I go on the miamirealestate.com website, and there are so many tools. It's insane. I would love to have this many tools in my possession as a title agent than what you as real estate professionals have. Research them. Figure out what tools, what technology, what system is going to be that opportunity for you to provide to your clients, to provide to your target in your farm area, and saying, hey, listen, I have this video program, or I have Agent 3000. I can put in a whole community on here. I can send out email blasts. There's so many things that you guys have at your hands, at your disposal, at the board. Research it. Figure out what are the 2 or 3 tools that you want to incorporate into your business, and that's what you're going to focus on the entire year. Okay. What are some threats? Okay. What are some obstacles towards your company growth? Who are your competitors? What changing factors can threaten your company's position? There is absolutely nothing wrong with researching your competition. There's nothing wrong. Listen, we get researched all the time. And at first, it was very difficult for us to say, man, you know what? They keep taking our ideas. They keep mimicking our ideas, or they keep going and replicating our ideas. It's very frustrating. But then you have to stop and say, you know what? If they're replicating and they're researching, it's because we're doing something good. We're doing something great. We're doing something that matters and makes a difference. So there is absolutely nothing wrong with researching what your competitions are doing. Don't do what they're doing. Obviously, don't copy it, but make it work for you. See what it is. It's called research. Google is great. Everybody researches on Google. There is absolutely nothing wrong with it. And that's my personal opinion on that. Okay. Your statement, state your mission and your values. Why is this doing this? Hold on, guys. Okay. It just looked funky for a second there. All right. So stating your mission, your visions, and your values. Now, this is important because when you start creating your business plan, and I'm sure most of you, if you've ever looked at a business plan model, like the real big ones with like the long pages, you'll notice something that most all companies or all business planning professionals, they'll start with, okay, well, what's your mission? What's your vision? And what's your value? It's important to have, because when you're out there giving your value proposition, when you're out there saying, hey, my name is Victor and I'm broker of Element Real Estate Group, and this is why, you need to be ready for it. It needs to be compelling. It needs to be able to say, wow, okay, so you know what you're doing. Like this is what your brokerage is about. This is what you're about. It clearly defines your mission. It is a powerful way to align you, your team, and reach your goals. It's a clear introduction. It tells a story, provides a solution on what you're passionate about your business. And I'm going to share some samples with you. And again, this is all going to be sent to you by copy, so you guys can research. Let me go to the next page. So real quick, how we're going to break down your mission, vision, and values is your mission is the reason why you chose this business. Okay. There is a book, Start With Why, Simon Sinek. I can never say his name right. I highly suggest you take that book, because that book will give you amazing, amazing samples of how professionals, and I'm talking about Windows, Bill Gates, I'm talking about Apple, I'm talking about real high-end professionals in this in the industry, how they've compiled their mission statements. And when you read it, you're like, oh my God, like I want to have a mission statement just like that. So it gives you the reason why you chose to be in this business anyways, okay? All of you here, real estate professionals, I'm sure one of the reasons is for flexibility, extra money, more time with family. So there's something that you can kind of fall back on. Your vision is what your success looks like for your business. It's what inspires you to be in the future. It's how you would like, how you will look like once you've accomplished your mission, okay? And what your values are, these are just guidelines and principles of what you bring to the table. I'll give you an example. New World's values is service, strength, and stability. Those are our three values. We provide service, we provide strength, and we have the stability to do it. That's just to kind of give you an idea, an example of what values mean, okay? The process of writing a personal mission statement is why people will buy from you and what sets you apart. So here are some examples that I pulled up from my research. And one of them is to make the buying and selling of real estate as cost effective as possible while maintaining the highest level of service, okay? This is a personal mission statement, all right? To provide accurate and up-to-date information, skilled analysis, and sound real estate advice. The third one is to continually explore new ideas and technology to make the selling and buying of real estate faster, less costly, and easier. I would say number 3 really ties into our industry and our world today, especially when it comes in with new ideas and technology. There's so many new tools. And again, this is part of your assignment where you need to go in and research what the board can offer you, okay? Does everything that I've talked about so far make sense? Just give me a thumbs up on the chats. If you need me to go back into anything and elaborate a little bit more, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to do so. Here's a value proposition from Claudio Ingleton over in Century 21 King Realtor. I help homeowners professionally market and sell their homes. I also help first-time homebuyers invest in the ownership of a home. We have an exciting way to ensure people get what they want in the time they want. Isn't that great? Now, this is what Claudio is always telling his people. He's always telling his target market, whether he's farming for sellers or he's farming for buyers, he's letting everyone know, listen, I will help you professionally market your home. That means that he's going to have tools, he's going to have technologies, he's going to have videos, he's going to have aerial views. He has the systems. He's always looking for new ways and exciting ways to make sure that their business and their real estate is going to be sold at the highest marketable value. He also helps first-time home buyers invest in the home ownership of a home. So this is just an example of what a value proposition means when you're tying in your mission, your vision, and your values together. Okay, does all that make sense? Okay, I'm trying to, all right. Setting smart goals. So now we're going down the pyramid. I have her doing like this. Oh, okay. Never mind. All right. So we're going to have now my mom come in and talk about setting smart goals. This is where her forte is, the GPS is. So really hone in, pay attention, and write notes. We're going to share everything with you anyways.
Hey guys, so thanks May. So I just want to elaborate a little bit on what she said. So strength, there is a book that you can find, you can even order it on Amazon or go to Barnes and Nobles. It's called Strength Finder 2.0, Strength Finder 2.0. And it's really great. You can take an assessment online. It gives you a code and it'll help you to identify what your strengths are. So if you don't know what your strengths are, this is a really great way to understand it. Now, you guys are all realtors, right? I think we all have realtors here in the house. And if we don't, maybe we have a few mortgage professionals. What do you think the R in realtor stands for? And that's, I always, ask that. The R in realtor stands for relationships. This is what we do. We build relationships because without relationships, we sell nothing. People will do business with people they like and they trust. So you have to start with understanding what your strength is. And hopefully one of those is that you are really, really great at building relationships. And if you're not, well, that is your opportunity to learn the skill. Okay, so I wanted to just add that little thing in. And she mentioned something about cold calling. It is the hardest thing that we do in our profession, in any profession. Cold calling, it stinks, right? We don't know what the other person on the other side's going to say. But I got to tell you, one of the things that I coach my agents to is to circle prospect. Circle prospecting is a little different than just getting on the phone, cold calling, and expired. Circle prospecting is you can take a property that your brokerage has sold, and then get on the phone with those neighbors and say, hey, it's Maria Elena, and I just wanted to ask you, who do you know that is looking to buy in your area right now? Because we just sold the house down the street. And by the way, inventory is really low. So who do you know that needs to sell? Because this is probably the best time ever to sell. Who do you know? How can you help me? Okay, so that's really a simple script. I have a million other scripts I can send you. But circle prospecting to me has really been the easiest warm cold call you can ever have. And she's right. Focus on your strengths. Don't focus on your weaknesses. Focus on your strengths. Your weakness is actually your opportunity to master the skill. So we're going to go a little bit deeper into that when we do our GPS. And one other thing that I wanted to share with you, and I always say these to my agents, if it's not in your calendar, it doesn't exist. Okay, so if you're not putting your strategies, and we're going to get into these goals, we're going to get into the strategies and tactics in a minute. If it's not in your schedule, it's not going to exist for you. You're not going to focus on that. So we're going to get into the SMART goals right now, and I'll be adding a few little examples along the way. So setting achievable SMART goals. So a SMART goal is it's a tool that you can use to plan your goals. While there are a number of interpretations, the most common one is that goals should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So when you are setting your goals, make sure you put SMART right next to you and ask yourself, you can go to the next screen. You can ask yourself, is it specific? So I'll give you an example. I need to lead generate. Great. Who are you going to lead generate to? Are you lead generating to your sphere? Are you lead generating to your past clients? Are you cold calling? Are you circle prospecting? Are you door knocking? Are you holding open houses? Are you calling expireds? Are you marketing? That is specific. You need to set specific strategies as to that goal. Measurable. So measurable is, how do I measure my progress? So for example, I have something that I call the 4 conversations. The 4 conversations is, if I know that I need to achieve X amount of income, and we're going to go into this in a few minutes. If I want to make $175,000 net this year, without net of IRS, how many deals do I need to close? Okay, how many buyers do I need to do presentations to? How many listings do I need to have in my pipeline? How many sellers do I need to meet with? How many appointments? So it has to be measurable. And then when we measure it, we say, okay, so if I have a monthly goal of going on, let's say 5 listing appointments and getting 2 listings, then I need to measure week 1. Well, how many calls did I make to sellers? Or how many calls did I make to buyers so that I can have X amount of contracts in my pipeline? So that's what measurable means, is understanding that there's a measure, a KPI, a key priority indicator that I need to measure. Achievable. Is the goal achievable? So, in my years of coaching, I ask agents, well, how much do you want to make? Oh man, I want to make $500,000. Okay, great. I love it. You're going to make $500,000 going from 60,000 to $500,000 in gross commission income in 1 year. Is that achievable? Okay, so let's be realistic. Your goals really need to be realistic. And I'll share with you a tool that I use to understand the achievableness of a goal. And then realistic. Do you have the necessary resources to accomplish this goal? So what are your resources? Do you have a CRM? Okay. Do you have a coach? Do you have an accountability partner? Do you have a role play partner? Do you have the right tools that will help you achieve your goals? Do you need to hire a social media manager? Do you need to hire a transaction coordinator so that it frees up your time so that you can do the things that are money-making activities? So you have to be realistic. And then the last thing is, the T is time bound. Put a deadline. So for example, I will have achieved by 6 months from now, I will have achieved 12 listings sold. That is a deadline. Now, the deadline, by the way, is a non-negotiable. And what I mean non-negotiable is, this is why it has to be measurable. If I know that in 6 months, I need to have closed 12 listings, this is my non-negotiable. What do I need to do to get there? If I am behind my goal, what do I need to do? If I'm above my goal, great, we have momentum. So when I talk about SMART goals and when I'm coaching agents, this is a target. I want you to understand, this is the target. This may be the $200,000 goal. I want to make $200,000, but this is the actual goal. This one here is non-negotiable, meaning I'm going to reach this one. And when you're halfway through to reaching this one, guess what? You're going to have momentum and you're going to be going towards that target. Now, some of you here might be an overachiever. Guess what? I'm an overachiever. And you don't want to burn out. This is how come I always say, set the goal that is non-negotiable. I am hitting this one. Because when you hit this one, you're going to go above and you're going to be going towards that target. Okay, so I want to make sure we talk about the SMART goals. Okay, Meg, go to the next one. Okay, so one of the things we're going to establish is the GPS, and GPS is actually one of my favorite tools. Some people call it the 135. I love to call it the GPS, and the GPS is goals, priorities, and strategies. That's what GPS stands for, and it's a planning model for you, and it works wonders because it's all about productivity and being able to prioritize what's the most important thing. So the GPS, in the GPS, you're going to identify the one big goal, 3 priorities to reach that one big goal, and each priority will have 5 strategies. Okay, so I am going to if it's okay, I'm going to share my screen for a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. And we'll come back to yours in a moment. Let's see, where are they? Okay, so I am going to share something that looks like a GPS. Okay, do you see that, May?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, let me get all my stuff out of the way. All right, so goals, priorities, and strategies. So when my one big goal is, and you've got to determine that. All right, so when you're business planning, you got to determine, is this, I want to achieve $175,000 gross commission, Or is it, you could use this actually for everything. You could use this for a health goal. You could use this for financial planning goal. You can use this for business planning. You can use it as a family planning tool. So what is my one big goal? Okay. The next thing is there's going to be 3 priorities that will help you to get to that one big goal. We're in real estate, so I'm going to just talk about real estate. So one of those priorities could be, okay, how many buyer closings do I need to close by December 31st, 2021? Scary number. I can't believe we're talking that. How many buyer transactions do I need to close in order to achieve my one big goal? The next thing is, what is the second priority? Okay, listen, guys. If you are not embracing listings, if you are not learning how to get listings, if you're not learning the language of savvy professionals that know how to persuade the sellers, you need to start thinking about getting into that realm of your business, because all of you are probably already experiencing it, low inventory. Okay, you're working with a lot of buyers and you don't have the inventory. When you have inventory, I like to call it, you're the goose with the golden egg. Okay, and many times you get to double dip those. Okay, so one of your priorities should be to be able to get listings. Now, listings are going to lead you to buyers. So this is why when we plan, I usually coach my agents to have a business that's 50-50. 50% seller goals, 50% buyer goals. Because when you have listings, you're going to get a lot of leads, buyer leads. Okay, so that is my suggestion to you. You can make it something else, but it's how many listings am I going to close this year? Now, priority number 3, I like to call it the who do I need to become goal. Who do I need to bring into my world to help me? What tools do I need? What classes do I need to take? What books do I need to read? This is about mastering your self-development. So if you already know what your strengths are, fantastic. But if you know what your weaknesses are, this is what you need to master. So if mastering the language of listings is something that will make you a more top producing agent, then maybe one of your strategies will be to learn more about the language of listings. Maybe it's I'm overwhelmed. I have a lot of transactions and I'm spending a lot of time and my money on being able to manage the transaction. Great. You might need to engage and bring into your team a transaction coordinator. So this is bringing people into your world. One of the things that might be your weakness is, how do I do Facebook ads? I need to embrace social media a little bit more. So maybe it's hiring a social media manager if you can, or if you're still doing it on your own, is I need to master the art of social media. So I'm giving you clues as to how the GPS works. Okay. Now, before we do our GPS, we need to also know what the number is. So I have an agent that says, okay, I want to make 175,000. This is what I want to make. Great. So how many buyer closings do you need to close? What will be the percentage of your buyer closings this year? Next year. So for example, if you're heavy into buyers, and let's say you're 70% of your business is buyers. Okay, let's start with, how many buyers do you need to have in your pipeline? How many buyer prospects must you have in your pipeline in order to achieve your goal? If you know that, let's say you need to have, I don't know, you want to close 24 buyer transactions. Okay, how many buyer contracts do you need to have pending? Because by the way, some of them will fall apart. Unfortunately, they do. So let's say that 25% of them are going to fall apart. So then how many buyers do I need to have under contract for me to achieve the 24 buyer closings? Then we break it down a little bit more. Here we go. How many prospects do I need? So a prospect is someone that you spoke to and they've said, hey, I have an interest in buying. And some of them will be your AAA buyers. Those are the ones that are closing in the next, they're going to put something under contract in the next 30 days. Your A buyers, they're the ones that are going to be putting something under contract in the next 60 days. Then you have your B buyers, 90 days, and your C buyers, those are going to be 180 days out. And make sure, this is one of the things you need to do, make sure that you're constantly communicating with your AAA and A buyers. And you're also communicating to your B and your C buyers through your CRM and through social media and every single way that you can. Okay, and I'll also give you a tool called the 10-10-10. Is you should be doing every day, you should be doing 10 contacts a day. You should be sending out 10 text messages a day, and you should also be doing 10 emails a day. And as a special bonus, at least 5 written note cards. I got to tell you, I am tickled pink when I receive a note card, and it is super special that you do that. So one of the tools that you might have as one of your strategies is to do the 10-10-10 every single day. So how about strategies to close sellers, to close on listings? Okay, how many listing presentations do you need to go on? Okay, and if you're going to go on listing presentations, well, how many expireds do you need to call? How many circle prospecting days do you need to have? When are the days that you're going to be calling your sphere and asking them, hey, who do you know that needs to sell? So all of these priorities will have strategies, okay? And then the strategies to attain priority number 3, you might say, I want to become a top producer in my company. Great. What does that take? Well, I need to learn the language of listing. I need to know how to persuade sellers to list with me because of the art of communication that I use. I need to have postcards. I need to learn marketing, or I need to have a marketing assistant. Those will be your strategies. Okay. So when you have all of this done, guys, okay, now you need to execute. And when you execute, you actually have to put it on your calendar. So this is what a lot of agents do. Okay. They create this beautiful business plan. Woohoo, Maria Elena, look, I created it. That's awesome. But here's the next step. The next step is I tell them, okay, I want you to take every single strategy that you put on your GPS, and I need you to put it on your calendar. Where in your calendar does it exist? Now, some of them will be daily, some of them will be weekly, some of them will be monthly, and some of them will be yearly. So let's take daily. Daily, you need to time block, okay? And if you don't know about time blocking, reach out to me. I'll be happy to teach you how to time block. You need to time block your lead generation. But don't just put lead generation. Exactly who am I contacting during those 2 hours? Am I calling expireds? Am I circle prospecting? Am I calling my sphere? Am I calling my past clients? Who is it? Okay, what are you doing exactly? And make sure to bring it out across your calendar. Here's the interesting thing that I have found out as I coach agents is they don't have a calendar. They don't have a planner. I'm appalled. I have to tell you, I have no idea how in God's world can you keep all of this in your head. I can't, I have to remember everything. I have on my calendar, wake up. I have on my calendar, meditate. I have on my calendar, read self-development. I have on my calendar, send text messages. I have it all blocked out, okay? My suggestion okay, is I'm an Outlook girl, okay? So I have the Outlook calendar always open and I time block. I know exactly what my entire week looks like on Monday morning. I know exactly when I'm lead generating. It's in the morning. It's from 9 to 11. I try not to ever make any appointments between 9 to 11. Why? Because that's my date with my future business. And that is a non-negotiable. My date with my future business is a non-negotiable for me. So you time block it. For those of you that are still on paper calendar, okay, my suggestion is that you get a planner that it looks like, I call it the barbershop planner or the beauty shop planner, which you can see every day, okay, at a glance. Not like this, but like this, hour by hour, okay? And that's how you time block. Now, when you time block and you put things on your calendar, on your paper planner, do it in pencil. Okay, because there are going to be times when things happen. You need to run to the vet because your dog just got sick, or you have a doctor's appointment, whatever it is. But here's my rule. If you erase something on your planner, you need to replace it at some other time in that week. So if you erase, you must replace, okay? Because things happen. But I always say, look, make sure that your non-negotiables, your date with your future business, that's a non-negotiable, is never ever compromised. So I'll give you an example of what agents do. They know that they need to lead generate from 9 to 11, okay? And the inspector calls on a deal they just put through. They just went pending. And they say, hey, MEYLING, guess what? I have available on Wednesday at 9 a.m. to do the inspection. And MEYLING is like, okay, all right, let's do it. No, she should already know, hey, this is a non-negotiable time that I have with a date with my future business. So, Mr. Inspector, I already have a previous commitment. Would 1 or 2 be better for you? See, I'm already leading that conversation to let him know, hey, 1 or 2, which is better for you? Okay, so make sure that you protect your date with your future business, your non-negotiables. That's daily, okay? Let's take a look at weekly. Okay, we go to a lot of trainings, guys, okay? Right now, most of the trainings are like this. We do them on Zoom, but eventually we're gonna go to live trainings, hopefully, right? But we do like the Zoom, right? So great. So if you know that you need to do a training or you have to go to a doctor's appointment, you already know, okay, I'm going to time block this time as my weekly appointment for my doctor or my training or whatever it is that is a weekly that has come about. Then you have monthly. What could possibly be monthly? Well, I'm going to do 2 open houses this month. So you put them in the slots of where they belong. Or, you know what? I'm going to do some pop buys. Not Popeye the Sailor Man, pop buys. I am going to pop by some of my past clients and say, hey, I'm going to be in the area this week. I'm going to be there tomorrow. I was wondering, are you going to be home? Because I'd like to pop by. I have a little gift for you. Okay. And by the way, just go to General Dollar or Dollar Store and get some tchotchkes and put them in a little bag, or just go with a bottle of wine. This is the best time of the year, guys, to do pop buys. We're in the holidays. This is deliver pies. This is deliver the bottle of wine. This is deliver cheer and merry. Okay. So you're going to need to do some pop buys. So plan them out. And by the way, when you're doing pop buys, you are lead generating. Just FYI, that is lead generating. The other thing that you might say is a weekly thing is it for the people that you can't get a hold of during the daytime. Put a day in your calendar, maybe a Wednesday, and say, okay, from 6 to 7:30, I'm going to be calling my past clients or my sphere, or I'm going to be circle prospecting to people that I can never reach during the day because they're working or whatever. And the other thing that you should do is one Saturday a month, just one Saturday a month, lead generate for 4 hours. Now that can be door knocking. Okay, door knocking to a sale that you just had. Hey, I just sold the house down the street and I wanted to introduce myself. You know, we have a lot of buyers right now that are wanting to live in this beautiful neighborhood. Let me ask you, who do you know that wants to sell? Just, are any of your neighbors ready to sell? Who do you know? And notice how I'm asking the question. I'm asking a lot of open-ended questions, okay? So do one Saturday a month and lead generate for 4 hours. It could be calling your sphere, it could be door knocking, it could be whatever. But that is a monthly. And then yearly. You know, some of you have been in the business for a very long time. So do you have a client appreciation party? You know, right now we're not really getting together. Great. How about doing a Zoom client appreciation party where maybe you drop off a bottle of wine to everybody and you say, hey, we're going to have an event. I'm going to have a client appreciation party via Zoom. And I want everyone to pop open that bottle of wine and we're going to have a good time together on Zoom. Okay, so there are also yearly events. Now, maybe you want to do first-time home buyer events. Okay, when are you planning them? Are you planning them quarterly, whatever? You get my drift. Plan it out. I always when I'm coaching agents, I say, you know what, get yourself one of those yearly calendars and just pop it in. When am I doing this? When am I doing that? One of my agents did a really great thing for Christmas last year. For the holidays, they have dogs and they're big dog fanatics, and they are involved with a pet rescue. So what they did is they created an event in their house, and they hired a photographer, and they put the back of their backyard, and they put holiday stuff in the background, and the photographer came, and you would bring your pet, and they would have like a little holiday scarf or whatever, and then they would take a picture with their pet, and then that picture was on their social media, and the customers could actually take it with them. That was a great event. I highly suggest you do that if you're a pet enthusiast. But what I loved is they partnered up with animal rescue. So you could do an event such as that where you partner up with a non-for-profit and invite your past clients, invite your prospects. So does everyone understand the importance now of the GPS and how to put it in your calendar? Just nod. Nodding is good for me. Okay. All right, May. I am going to share something else right now also that I want to share with you. And this is something, can you see this from Forward Coaching? No? Okay, I'm going to stop share for a minute and I am going to share again. And this is something that we're going to send you, and MEYLING has that to send it to you.
I see.
Okay, so this is something I am very involved with Forward Coaching. These are the partners that we have at my brokerage right now with Home Genius, and this is the plan. It helps you to set up what your business plan should look like for 2021, and it's, you know, talking about winning, managing your thoughts, managing your energy, your time, your money. And then you also have a short-term business plan. We have how many days I think left, MEYLING? 53 days?
52 actually.
52 days left in the year. So this is a short-term plan. We still have a lot of time to be able to do just a short-term plan to get us through the year. And guess what, guys? You know, just like if you all are football fanatics or, you know, soccer fanatics, what happens in the fourth quarter is crucial. You got to put the pedal to the metal in the fourth quarter. It's going to depend on whether you win or lose the game. For you realtors and everyone that's on this call today, what you do in the fourth quarter is going to set up the success of your first quarter of the year. Let's be honest, people slow down right after the holidays. You want to work really hard right now to get a lot of prospects in your pipeline now. You don't want to start this in January. In January, everybody's like on slow-mo. I mean, honestly, here in Miami, in South Florida, we don't get going till January 15th. We're like on holiday mode, right? Right now, no one's traveling, you know, outside of the US. But but we are going to where some of us will be traveling. So we don't really get back into business mode until the 15th of the year. You've lost half a month, okay? 15 days of your first quarter is gone. So plan now to have a lot of buyer and seller prospects in your pipeline so that when January comes around, guess what? You're clicking, you're just going, you're pumping the business to your pipeline, okay? And I hope you have a pipeline, and if you don't, reach out to me and I'll send you a really quick pipeline. So the first thing I want you to do also is do your 2020 year-end review. Where are you? How much income did you make? How many listing appointments did you go on? Well, maybe you haven't been, tracking that. It's a good time to start tracking it. Go back to your calendar. How many listing appointments did I go on? And how many listings did I take? Because that's going to understand your ratio. So for example, I always ask my agents, so if you were lucky enough to go on 10 listing appointments this month, you were cracking it, man. And you got 5 listings, what is your ratio? And their ratio is 50%. So what does that mean? That means that they need to hone in on their listing skills. Again, the language of listings is very important. How many listings did you sell? So if you got 5 listings, how many listings actually sold? In this market, probably all of them, but I got to tell you, mortgage applications, guess what? Have just started to go down. Do you know what that means? The market is shifting. It will shift a little bit. So those buyers may not be out there so much. That's a great conversation, guys, for you to have under your belt when you go on a listing appointments. Mr. Seller, the indicator that of the buyer's market is mortgage applications. Well, it's starting to go down again. What that means is there's not going to be that many buyers out there. So this is the best time to put your property on the market before the market shifts again. Okay. So these are just a few questions that you should ask yourself and be honest. Don't lie to yourself. And then what are your goals? What are your goals for 2021? So how much income do you want to make? And based on your listing to appointment ratio, how many listing appointments do you need to go on so that you can take X amount of listings? And those X amount of listings are going to give you a certain amount of closed deals. If you want to do the KPI, the key priority indicators, I have a financial tool. It's an Excel sheet. It's really cool, and I can do it for you in less than 5 minutes. If you want to do a one-on-one with me really quick, 15 minutes, I can do this financial plan with you, and you don't need to figure it all out. I'll figure it out for you, and you just put it on there. May, just put my phone number on the chat and my Gmail address, mearias31@gmail, and they can reach out to me, and I'll help them. The other thing is the gap analysis, okay? And be honest with yourself here. Are you ahead or you're behind in your progress with your 2020 business goals? By the way, did you even have a 2020 goal? Did you have a business plan in 2020? Change that to say, I'm going to have one in 2021. And by the way, don't just create the plan. You've got to look at it every morning. So every morning when you wake up and you are having that coffee, what should be in front of you is your business plan. Ladies, as we're putting on our makeup every morning, put the business plan right there. So we know, hey, where am I as to meeting these goals? Okay. What are the changes you need to make to achieve the goals you've set for 2021? Okay. Because this is for 2021. So for example, who do you need to become? Meaning, what do you need to master? What conversations do you need to master? What classes do you need to master? Are you the market expert? Do you need to become, there's a new designation, the PSA for NAR, property, I think it's pricing strategy advisor. That might be a NAR designation you want to take. Okay, so this is a gap analysis that you will do. And then this is my favorite. I have to tell you that when I'm coaching agents, the first thing I ask them is, I want you to, on a scale of 1 to 10, grade yourself, rank yourself. Where are you with time management? Okay. I will tell you probably 95% of you on this call are going to be a 5 and below, okay? And that is super important. That is super important realization that you need to hone in on being able to manage your time correctly. And that only comes by putting it in your calendar and following your calendar. Okay. Prospecting for new business. Where are you with that? So I use this self-assessment actually. Before I coach anyone, I ask them to do this because then I know exactly what their number three priority is going to be. What do they need to master? What do they need to learn? What skills do they need to have? What tools? Who do they need to bring into their world? Really, that's priority number three. And this helps me so much when I'm coaching the agents for priority number three. And then the next thing is, what does my perfect day look like? And this is an excellent tool for you. And notice how it says here, your goal is 80% of your day is spent on money-making activities. Guys, 80% of your day is spent on money-making activities. What are those? Okay, you got to be very clear with what that is. All right, so is creating a social media post a money-making activity? Is talking to the title company a money-making activity? Is talking to my sphere a money-making activity? You've got to determine what those money-making activities are. In fact, you should have no less than 3 to 5 sources of lead generation every day. 3 to 5 lead generation sources. Okay, so make sure you understand what those 3 to 5 lead generation sources are, because that's going to comprise your 80%. And based on your self-evaluation, these are the 3 top habits you need to create. Okay, so from the self-assessment, you're going to say, okay, where is that I am not doing a 5 and above, and who and what do I need to do, and who is going to hold me accountable? Guys, if you have kids, let me tell you, kids will hold you accountable. And I'll tell you how. If you say to your kids, guys, if daddy closes 24 transactions this year, we're going to go on a cruise. And the kids are going to hold you to it, okay? They will say, hey, daddy, so where are you with listings? How many listings did you get? How many closings do you have? They will hold you accountable. If you promise your wife or your spouse something, hey, honey, if I achieve this, we're going to go on a trip to Greece. Trust me, she's going to hold you accountable. So who's going to hold you accountable? Do you need a coach to hold you accountable? Do you need an accountability partner to hold you accountable? Now, when I say an accountability partner, guys, I'm not saying someone that's going to say, oh, okay, I know you had a rough day. Heck no. You need somebody who's going to say, okay, great. Let's get past it. Let's get through it. What are you going to do tomorrow to make up for what you didn't do today? That's a great accountability partner, okay? And that's exactly what a coach will tell you. All right, and then here's your 10-10-10. Remember I talked to you about the 10-10 tracking form? This is something that MEYLING is sending to you, or you have on the link. How many, it's gonna help you Monday through Sunday. How many contacts did you make? I want you to understand contacts. See the little asterisk right here? Must be a live phone call or a face-to-face. Guys, a contact is not someone I just, hello? Okay, and they hang up on you. That is not a contact. That is just a dial that hung up on you. A contact is a live phone call and a face-to-face, and more importantly, you spoke about real estate, okay? A lot of you are afraid to speak to your sphere or your past clients about real estate. People, get past this one. Everyone wants to know what's happening in real estate. And you can't be saying it's unbelievable. Okay, do not say that. You need to know how many days, how many month of inventory is on the market. You need to know, how are we with sales compared to last year? Are we up or are we down? We need to know how many listings are coming up on the market. Are we up or down on listings? You need to have that roll off your tongue. Okay, the Miami Board of Realtors does an amazing job every month by sending you the stats. But here's another tool that I love even more. if you go on to floridarealtors.org, SunStats is a resource you have. And SunStats is like up to date because the Miami board is going to give it to you 1 month behind. We want to know what's happening now. So if you go to SunStat, you can even take it down to cities, I think even to zip codes. If you want to know what's going on in the zip code, how many listings are coming on the market? Are we up? Are we down? SunStats is an amazing tool. So have that in front of you because you want to be able to talk some kind of real estate when you are talking to your contacts. 10 emails, 10 text messages, and again, the bonus is sending out cards. So if you spoke to somebody, let's say you spoke to somebody and their dog just passed. Okay, great. You know what? Send them a note card. Hey, I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm, my condolences or whatever. Or somebody's daughter just graduated from Harvard or from Miami-Dade Community College. Send them a congrats, a note card that you send them. What do you need to have? You need to have their address. Okay, so as you're speaking with people, you want to make sure you are updating your CRM. And guys, if you don't have a CRM, you really need to get one. The Miami Board of Realtors offers the free tool. It's not free anymore. I think it's Agent 3000. It's $20 a month. It has a great CRM. It has a great website. I have to tell you, one of my favorite CRMs is Brian Buffini. Brian Buffini has one right now for COVID that's only $20 a month. And I got to tell you, I'm in love with it because it reminds me when I need to follow up with somebody. So have a CRM and work it. Don't just have a CRM and leave it alone. That is, I call it the Bible. That your CRM is your Bible. All right. You need to walk around with that CRM and know when you need to send a campaign to them, send them a newsletter, everything. One of the things that I know, May, I think you use this is a tool called Coffee and Contracts. I love that tool, and most of her blogs are on Coffee and Contract. So if you need to, I know she's saying I'm giving away her secret. I'm sorry. Oops, sorry. Coffee and Contracts, guys. Okay. Great social media. All right. So continuing along. Okay. So buckets of wealth. This really, I've been doing this, and I have to tell you, it's really made me go and be very introspective of my life and where I want to go. So, most of us don't even know what our annual expenses are. Most of us don't even know what our profit is or what we're going to do with our profit. Okay. We are all in the business of real estate. Okay. To have real estate. Okay. To own real estate. So make sure, and this kind of tells you, okay, if you have extra profit, 20%, where's that 20% going? Okay. 20% is to you, to your real estate, to your business, to finances, and to giving. So this is really great. I love this. And May was talking about your vision. Okay, the vision statement is not as easy as people think it is. This is a tool that's going to help you create your vision statement. And guys, I got to tell you, a company without a vision statement and a mission statement, you're just shooting blank bullets. Honestly, you're just shooting blank bullets. You are not running a business. And we are all of you on this call are the CEOs of your business. You may work for a brokerage, but guess what? That's just your broker. You are the CEO of your business, and you are the only one that is responsible for your success. So what is your vision? Why are you doing this? What do you want to achieve? So the vision, this is going to help you create your vision statement, which will also help you create your mission statement. Actually, when I coach people, I say, so tell me what your vision is 5 years from now. Guys, you can't even figure out what a year from now looks like, okay? We really need to start thinking bigger and what it looks like, because here's the truth. What you do today is one step further to where you're going to be 5 years from now. And if you don't understand where you're going to be 5 years from now, then how do you know you're going to take that, what step you need to make, okay? So this is a great tool for your vision. And then play a game with yourself. There's a menu for success. So the menu for success is you need to total 30 points by the end of the day. And then if you went on a qualified listing appointment, you give yourself 5 points. You took a listing, woohoo, 15 points. You showed property, 5 points. You wrote an offer, 10 points. You get the gist. The goal is to get to 30 points a day. This kind of will help you keep on track, guys, okay? And then visit your money. Okay, I'm not going to spend a lot of time with this because this is something you need to do. All right, but do a reality check. What are your required monthly expenses? What are optional? And you're going to find that you may need to remove some of these optionals and add some that are going to help your business. Okay, reality check continued. And it gives you kind of like what your annual expenses are and then what your debts are. This is a great tool to take a look at your finances and then take a look at your salary. Okay, it's annual salary. We call it our net income. What is the annual salary that you had last year or have this year? What does it need to be next year? Do you have other income? Do you have, property management income? Do you have profit sharing? Do you have anything? Do you have properties that are rents? Do you have stocks? Okay. Loans and interest, what that is, and then do what your net worth. And guys, you're going to find out that some of you are going to freak out when you see what your net worth is. Some of you are going to say, oh my goodness, I'm in a minimum minus net worth. And some of you say, oh, I'm worth $1. And some of you are going to say, oops, I'm worth 100,000. So this is a reality check for you as you create your business plan. I think, and this is like a reflection once you understand your net worth, is reflect. How do you feel? What are you surprised? And what do you need to focus on? Okay. And then take action. Okay. So take actions. What do you need? What expenses do you need to remove? How do you need to create more income? And then giving back. Okay. So listen, we're a great industry where we're able to give back to GoFundMe, or if you have a non-for-profit. And then this is really my favorite, guys. This one brings tears to my eyes, and I have to tell you, it's your letter to your future self. But don't write this letter to your future self until you've gone through the entire process. The letter to your future self should be described in detail as if you already were there, you lived it. All the great things that occurred for you in your business and your personal life. The more details, the better, and really visualize the dream. And I'll tell you why. What you focus on expands. Remember that. What you focus on will expand. So if you're focusing on having a tremendous 2021, guess what? Nothing's going to hold you back. Okay? If you're still focusing on having the best year ever in 2020, you know what you need to do. So what you focus on expands. But the reason I say that this brings tears to my eyes is because I've done this every year. And I actually have a friend who shares it with me. And everything she's put in this letter to her future self has actually happened. Okay, it's actually happened. So what you do is you write it, you put it in an envelope, and then you put it in your planner or you put it in your Outlook. Read my letter to my future self. Put it somewhere that you can find it, not like me that I will put things somewhere and then I don't remember where I found it. So put it somewhere where you're going to find it. And you're going to find that a lot of the goals that you set out for yourself, you actually achieved. What the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. And understand that you need to believe in it. Because if you don't really believe in it, guys, it ain't happening. Okay? So that's a tool for you. May, anything else that you want to talk about that you think I should?
No, I think you've covered all of it, especially I'm writing down my greatness. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I've already got, well, don't mind my handwriting, but see, I already got my 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. And those tactics and tips do work. Let me go back to the other screen just so we can wrap up this bad boy.
Wrap it up, girl.
And then if you want to, so for note cards, I know sometimes it's very challenging. So the easy way out is, because I'm always looking for simplified processes, is use handwritten. I'll send you the link on that. They actually do handwritten notes. And I think it's like $3.25 to use their service. So you can write in the message, you can save your campaigns, you can actually create handwritten card campaigns for listings buyers. You can create any kind of handwritten no campaign that you'd like. So I'll send that link over there to you. Some tips for, reaching out. Text messages and phone calls and emails, guys, they do work, especially texting. We're in a world right now where it's millennial. Let's just face it. We gotta call it what it is. People will respond to text messages faster than they'll pick up your phone call. It's just the truth. So if you're looking for a CRM that offers texting, you can look into LionDesk. I know that there's a bunch of other CRMs out there that you can create campaigns for texting. They will give you a dedicated phone number. It just helps you keep your texting campaigns organized. And calls. So something about calls that I kind of want to just elaborate on a little bit is you have to research the best timing. It's the same concept as social media. You have to know the best times to call your clients. So when you're planning out your calendar, you have to research your demographics. So for instance, if you want to work or you're targeting first-time home buyers, don't call them at 9 o'clock. Don't call them at 12. Don't call them at 1 and don't call them at 2. You either need to call them at 7 in the morning or at 6 or 7 o'clock at night. Because if they're first-time home buyers, what are they most likely doing between the hours of 9 to 5? Working. So they're not going to be able to answer your phone calls. Maybe they'll answer a text or two. So you have to know your demographics. If you want to work on or you want to target high-end luxury listings, you have to understand your demographics. Most of these people are very influential people. Chances are they're probably playing golf. What are the prime times that they would play golf? Do not call them during that time. So you have to research your target market and you have to know what are the best times to call them. Once you figure that out, then you can add it into your calendar and saying, okay, I'm blocking out from 7 to 9 and this is my cold calling time because this is the time that I know they're going to pick up the phone. So I just kind of want to put that tip out there because I know that it does help and it does make a difference. This is a sample of what a GPS business plan looks like once it's all completed and once it's all done. So the worksheet that Maria Elena sent out to you is more like a guide. It's going to combine everything that we've talked about and maybe then some and more. It's going to put everything on there for you. Now, when you're ready to put everything onto a single piece of paper, this is what it would look like. So it's going to break down your your main goal, your priorities, and your strategies. And like Maria Elena said, I am a big believer. As a matter of fact, she's the one that instills me every time I open up my agenda. And if I don't see things and highlighters, I hear her in the background, like, if it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist. Listen, instill that because it does help. There's times that I get anxiety. I'm like, oh my God, what are you talking about? I don't have anybody I need to visit today. I'll just get in my car. I'll go somewhere or I'll make a phone call or I'll figure out something to do or I'll call the office and say, hey, can I do a closing for you today? It's just because there's nothing in my calendar. So I freak out. So that's just a little about that. So what you want to do is once you've established your strategies, grab all of your strategies, everything that you've had here and start implementing them into your calendar. So this slide that we're also going to share with you, we already have some ideas of things that you can do. You know, contact all my family, friends, past clients to lead generate and update contact information. So this is just a guide of what you can look at or kind of figure out, okay, I don't know where to start. Here's a starting point. Online presence, lead generating, center of influence, database. It's not to say copy it because this is not your goal. This is someone else's goal. We're just using this as an example for purposes of visualization and kind of guiding you through the right path on how to do your own business plan. Okay, now she wants to say something. So she's going to unmute herself.
Yeah. So what I was going to say is if any of you would like to have a one-on-one with me, I am open to helping you. This is what I love to do, and no commitments whatsoever. I'll just help you create it, and feel free to reach out to me. I do not charge anything to do this. It comes as a freebie.
Awesome, Mom. Thanks. Will you do it for free for me? All right. When you're looking at strategy, tactics, and execution, here are just some ideas and some tips that you can use. Strategy is how your method, time, and resources come into play. Tactics are the specific methods, resources, and techniques. And then execution is how you will employ the tactics you have chosen. Again, I think the most important part of all of this is once you all have created your plan, commit to yourself to execute it. Commit to yourself to say, you know what? I went through all of this. I created all of this. I've taken time, energy, and effort to figure out how I want to get to my goal. The hardest part is executing it. Do it. You can plan it, but planning it is one thing. Executing it is a whole other thing. And if you need accountability partners, you can talk to myself. You can talk to my mom. You can talk to your broker. I know a lot of brokers right now are in it. They're 100% all on board to be an accountability partner. We have some great brokers on here today. We have some great team leaders on here today. So I think that all of them can collectively agree that yes, you know, they're in it to help you. So whatever you need to do now for those brokers and those team leaders that I do have here on today, something that I would suggest is we're heading off into a new year. We're closing out the year. I would probably start instilling business planning for your agents between now and the end of December. I think, truth be told, we're getting into the holiday season. Most people start, you know, kind of checking out or just spending more time with family after Thanksgiving. Make it a point that when they do create their business plan, to send it to you, to have them give you a copy, for you to look at it, give them your suggestions. You are their brokers, you are their team leaders, you are their accountability partner. Once you start instilling that into them, they will be able to say, hey, Vic, hey, Janice, hey, Daniel, guess what? I'm trying to see if I can help you reach my goals. Here's my business plan. What do you think? Is there anything that I can add? Is there anything I can take away? So then that way they see you as an accountability partner and you see them as and not only that, you're coaching them. So I think that would be a great tactic or a great strategy for you to do between now and Sharon as you as well, between now and probably the end of the year, so that come January, your team is kicking it. Your team is 100%. The challenge is keeping them in that motivation past March. Past March, keeping them that motivation so that they can continue doing what they need to do. I'll leave it up to you guys to decide how you want to do the accountability thing. You could probably put a board, or I don't know, however you want to do it. But I think this is a great tool for you to provide back to them and keeping them accountable. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We finished this in literally an hour and 22 minutes. There's a lot of information. I know it's so much to digest. I was even writing notes myself. And there's a lot that I probably may have missed. So I will be sending this recording along with the worksheets to only those who have registered. So before you logged into this class, you all should have had a pop-up screen to register with your name, last name, and your email address. If you went through that process, I will be sending this presentation along with the links to everyone who has registered. If by chance you were not able to register and it just kind of dragged you on straight to this presentation, please let me know, shoot me a message so with your email address so I can include you on that email blast that I will be sending out with this presentation. And that's about it, guys. Any questions? Anybody who wants to say anything, any tips before we kind of log off? We have one. Everybody can unmute themselves now. It was great and informative. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We have Maria. Thank you, Maria. Team leaders, I'm happy to coach you. I'll be in touch with you. Jesus Colina, lunch tomorrow if you're paying. Absolutely. I'm in all day. I would like some sushi sake. Have you ever tried their calle ocho? Phenomenal. Amazing. It's all I've been having all day. Probably why I've gained like 5 pounds. Let's see. Marisol, how much do you charge? I'm not sure if that was to. I do it. Oh, she doesn't charge anything. It's free. It's free. Okay. All right, guys. I'm going to stop the recording. You're welcome, Sharon. We look forward to speaking with you. And again, if there's any other tips or you just kind of want to pick our brains, by all means, please you have my number there on the screen. Maria's number's on the chat, and make it a great day, guys. We're almost there.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Maria.
Bye, Victor.
All right.
I stop recording.